Boba Fett hits a defenseless stormtrooper. I mean, that's kind of like, I mean, come on, these guys are a bunch of clowns. We understand A New Hope, they were made fun of, but come on. This is a huge gripe for me.
Come on. Dang ferret!
We start off with the opening scene. It's a quiet moment between Grogu and Mando. They are playing with that metal ball again. Mando is goading Grogu to use the Force, and I have a problem. We have already seen this scene already in the last episode. This is a retread. I don't get it. This is a down thumb for me.
Oh, come on, man. You're not down with that scene? Yes, it's not as good as the other episodes in season 2 as for opening scenes, but I don't see it as repetition. It's reinforcement of the connection between Mando and Grogu, the child. That ball, such a small object, is such a big representation of that relationship. So I give it an up thumb, also because Mando is playing this tough guy act. Like, I'm a tough guy and I'm not bittersweet about leaving Grogu to the Jedi. You could see in that shot there that he's kind of torn a bit. He's kind of hiding his feelings. And even Baby Yoda is a little bit sad too. So I like that visual cue between them. Anytime you can have less dialogue, the better.
I don't want your armor. I want my armor. It belongs to me.
We have a few quiet scenes, not many in this episode, but one quiet scene that stood out to me was Boba Fett explaining to Mando the history of his armor and major character development in this scene. For years, George Lucas was saying Jango Fett is not a Mandalorian, and for the first time ever, it's now canon. Jango Fett is a Mandalorian. Boba Fett confirmed it that Jango took the oath, and therefore he took the oath when his father died, and inherited the armor. Lore wise, it's an up thumb. I like that a lot.
If you're a Star Wars nerd, especially a nerd of the prequels, you probably got that inside joke when Mando said, "Are you a Jedi?"
um yeah, that is a deep cut because it's from a deleted scene a scene that was never shot, where clone troopers were dressed as Jedi, and they in what was it? Revenge of the Sith. That was the third one.
Last time I checked.
Yes, and they stormed. Allegedly, they stormed the Jedi Temple, and then Yoda and Obi-Wan intercepted them. And one of the lines Obi-Wan said, "Clones make poor Jedi."
Yes, the Force has a strong influence on the weak-minded. Anyways, back to the review. The quiet scenes, I thought it was kind of cool because Boba Fett, I did like his delivery when he said, "I have allegiance to no one." And that, like, when Mando said, "This is against my creed." So it's kind of a cool, different point of views of the world of Mando and Boba Fett.
Did you take the creed?
I give my allegiance to no one.
It is kind of cool to have a callback to the prequels with Jango Fett, Boba Fett's father, and how Boba Fett still honors his father. So I give it an up thumb for quiet scenes.
And for our next talking point, action scenes, I'm a bit mixed on this episode's action scenes, but one thing that really stands out is Boba Fett. This character has been around for what, 20, 25 years or something like that, and for the first time ever, we actually see him do something. I don't know if you guys remember in the original trilogy, he was only in it for like 12 minutes, and his significant moment is falling into the pit, and that was it. So in this episode, it was really cool to see Boba Fett in action. He just demolished these stormtroopers, and it was really cool to see. So I am leaning more on a thumbs up for the action scenes, but what brings it down for me is the stormtroopers. The joke is not funny anymore. S- So, I give the action scene a 4 out of 5. Not a thumbs up, but just a decent scenes.
One thing I don't get is how did Boba Fett get enough time to dress up in his costume with his helmet?
funny, funny amateur.
Well, I don't make amateur observations. I guess that's how bad the stormtroopers are. That Mando could just be lying down on the floor for the whole fight, for most of the fight. It's funny how the first shot we see of the ship comes out, and then you see the smoke and the fog, and you think these are the Darktroopers, but nope, it's the Stormtroopers. And what do the Stormtroopers do? They just storm with no tactics, bum rush, and they just get mowed down like a video game. It's starting to be a little bit comical. It's like they're a bunch of rag dolls. There's even some shots where Boba Fett hits a defenseless stormtrooper. I mean, that's kind of like, I mean, come on. These guys are a bunch of clowns. We understand in New Hope they were made fun of, but come on. This is a huge gripe for me. It's getting old fast. We're in 2020. This is not the 1970s. Come on, Mandalorian. You got to make the stormtroopers have a little bit more of a threat.
Amateur, I'm with you. As I pointed out, the joke is not funny anymore. The stormtroopers, they need to be more of a threat. The action scenes were great, but they were stormtroopers. That there was no tension at all.
Yeah, it reminds me of Hot Shots Part 1 or Part Ducks with Charlie Sheen, how that movie kind of made fun of Rambo and like the James Bond movies and like Commando with Arnold Schwarzenegger, how like the good guys just hit the bad guys from all angles. It's like they have this like sixth sense, they know where the bad guys are, and that's what happened in this chapter 14, the tragedy. And the tragedy is just a lazy action scene. It reminded me of The Hobbit in the Hobbit trilogy, how those action scenes just have no tension, as you said, Duke, just because it's just a bunch of bad guys swarming the good guys. You just have 2, 3 good guys, you have 100 bad guys, but it's just fake tension. That's what it is. And yeah, it is funny how you just do a 180 and you just hit these stormtroopers. That scene just a huge gripe for me. It's a thumbs down, but I'm going to go one step further and give that final action scene a burnt popcorn.
Wow. Is this the first burnt popcorn by you? I think.
It might be. So, Star Wars fans, Mandalorian fans, I know you're booing me. Don't leave me off the hook. I'm an amateur. Oh, yeah, one more thing that might affect my rating of the final action scene. I think the stormtroopers did have some strategy this go around. Yes, they're bum rushing the good guys, but they did have some good tactics, like this grenade launcher thing. They were trying to load that up, and also that like Gatling gun thing. I guess then it's a burnt popcorn. They did try to do things with some new toys, but hey, it's the people behind the toys that make the difference.
You're not ready to play with such things.
Next, we have talking point 4, the hook scenes. I don't have much to say other than I did like the interaction between Moss Gideon and Grogu. He's done his homework. He has Grogu in his sights, and I don't know how Mando is going to resolve this. So it did hook me that the bad guys, they have the upper hand, and I'm looking forward to the next episode. I do have one slight gripe. The character Dunn, there's an interaction between her and Mando, and you would think the first thing she would ask is, "Where's baby Grogu?" But you know, I guess that's just poor writing. It's a kid show, so I give it a little pass. As for the hook scenes, I give it a 4 out of 5.
There you go with your decimal rating. Anyways, yeah, I do like how Moss Gideon interacts with Grogu or Baby Yoda, which makes sense now to say Baby Yoda, because Moss Gideon kind of treats Grogu like a baby. He has that like, no, 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 Baby Yoda. It's just that great delivery by the actor. It's like a parent looking at a child and the child wants something. I just love that great interaction there. So it adds some great humor and tension at the same time. Lastly, also, it was kind of funny how the Stormtroopers, I know I just said they're kind of made look like idiots or clowns, but it was just kind of funny. The Stormtroopers, bumbling into each other all because of Grogu, Baby Yoda, kind of messing around with them. And also kind of cool how Moss Gideon knows that the way of the Jedi. He wanted to see how far Baby Yoda can go, and he got some good amusement out of that. And I thought it was a funny, tense scene. I give it a thumbs up for the hook. Hey folks, I'm a special guest, and I got a gripe cooking, and I'm boiling. What's with the Darktroopers? There was no interaction, no exchange between the Darktroopers and the good guys. And that was it. The Darktroopers, they came, they saw, and they captured Baby Yoda. So convenient. I wanted to see at least some kind of scuffle, but I guess we have to wait for the next episode. Oh well. I kind of complain when the good guys have things go their way, but I guess this go around, the bad guys have things going their way. A little bit too conveniently. Now's what you all scrolled ahead for, our final ratings. Let's see if I leave Mandalorian Chapter 14 off the hook. Opening scene, while not crazy memorable, I do love how opening scenes and ending scenes are interconnected with each other. The last shot of the episode, or one of the last shots of the episode, was Mando holding the ball that Yoda was playing around with, Baby Yoda was playing around with. And I just thought that was a nice, solemn reminder of that relationship that they have. There was no dialogue needed. Mando is a bit ticked off now. He's motivated. I know I gave the final action scene a lot of rubbish. Sorry to rub you off the wrong way, but that final action scene almost makes it a down thumb for me. But what makes this a sideways thumb is that him holding the ball, and I guess it's kind of cool to see Boba Fett in action. Even though he was kind of lame in this one, he's just like this old guy without a helmet on. In the original trilogy, Boba Fett had a lot more mysteriousness with him. I know in this episode, they kind of did a money shot close up on his helmet, like he's doing some really cool things. That was a nice callback to the original trilogy. But I don't know, he's just mowing down a bunch of stormtroopers, so it's a sideways thumb.
My final rating, I give the episode a 3.5. I was mixed throughout the whole episode. I didn't really like the opening scene. The action scene, we finally see Boba Fett do something. And that was cool, but too bad he was just fighting stormtroopers, which brought the scene down a lot. And I did like the little interaction with Gideon and Grogu, but this was probably one of the poorest episodes I've seen so far in the series. I probably won't watch it ever again.
Well, we're always up to griping and hyping. We don't give a thumb, we don't give a tomato. We're down and up for anything. So like, comment, share, and subscribe. Boy, a lot of multitasking skills. That rings bells. Hit that notification bell. But you know what? Have a thumbs up day.